מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא אכסר, בנהוד שירביצני, על ימי מנוחות ינהלני. נפשי ישובב, יניחני במקלי צדק למען שמו. עם כלג וכצל מוות, לא ידע רע כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך עמה ינחמוני, תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי. דשענת בשמן ראשי כוסי רוויה, אהבת וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושאבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. The words of the 23rd Psalm, a psalm of David. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want, giving me repose in green meadows, leading me beside the still waters to revive my spirit, guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through a valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever. Thank you. We welcome everyone here at the Sherizedek Cemetery, and we also welcome everyone who tuned in today. My name is Rabbi Anibal Mas from Congregation Sherizedek, and it's my great honor to be here this afternoon officiating this funeral. Today, we are gathered to say goodbye to Martin David Brody of blessed memory, who was known but the Jewish people also by his Hebrew name, Menachem David ben Naftali Vesara Gittel, Zichrono Livracha. He was the son of Nelson and Gertrude, of blessed memory, beloved husband to Pat for some 21 years. The father of Carol and Myron, and Marilyn and Tom. The grandfather of Megan and also of Sarah of blessed memory. Martin passed away on April 8th, peacefully, at the age of 97. We read in the Mishnah that Rabbi Yochanan said to his students, "Go forth and observe which is the right way to which a person should follow." Rabbi Eliezer said, "A good eye." Rabbi Joshua said, "A good friend." Rabbi Yossi said, "A good neighbor." Rabbi Shimon said, "Foresight." But Rabbi Eleazar said, "A good heart." Rabbi Yochanan said to them, "I prefer the words of Eleazar ben Arach, a good heart. For in his words, your words are included." So today we are saying goodbye to a man that had many virtues, as it will be clear after the eulogies. But his main virtue was his good heart, which according to the rabbis includes all the other virtues. When I asked Carol and Marilyn to define their dad with one word, they didn't hesitate to say he was a mensch. And there is a beautiful teaching from Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Kotsk that I believe applies to the life of Martin Brody. Rabbi Menachem explained the verse from the book of Exodus that says, "And you shall be people imbued with holiness unto me." He explained that as, first, be a mensch, a person of integrity and honor. Then, and only then, be holy. Martin had his holiness moments. He used to come to the Shari Tzedek services, but his reputation as a mensch came first, and that was his contribution to the world as a Jew. So today we have the opportunity to hear more about the life of Martin Brody of blessed memory from those who knew him best. So to begin with that process, I'd like to invite first Pat to share with us her eulogy.
When we met, I was 19 and you were 26. And you swept me off my feet. Back then, you were a Clark Gable look-alike, and I felt like the luckiest girl alive. It didn't take us long to get engaged and to marry in 1949. For over 71 years, we were best friends. I am grateful for all the years we had together. You took very good care of me and our girls. Our long life together is a milestone and a gift from God. As in every marriage, we had our good times and bad, but we got through them together, always kind and generous. We respected one another, and we communicated well. As well as being a devoted husband and father, you are a loving and supportive son and nephew to your family in Toronto. You had a close relationship with my family. Many of our happiest memories are visits with our children and grandchildren, cruises we took together, and our winters in Palm Springs. Judaism was very important to you. Your love of Torah led you to study and have a second bar mitzvah. Shabbos mornings always found you at Sherry Zedek. For entire working life, you were the furniture business. Initially, you owned a furniture store. Later, you became a manufacturer's rep, traveling Western Canada. Being on the road, away from home, can be a lonesome experience. But even in the worst weather, when you were stuck in a storm, you never complained. In all the years that we were married, I never had to call a handyman. You were my Mr. Fix-It. You painted and wallpapered, laid tile, made furniture, built two basement recreation rooms. There was nothing around the house that you couldn't do. Anytime I wanted a change in decor, you were there to get the job done. We enjoyed a vibrant social life with our many friends. I loved to cook and bake, and we often hosted dinner parties. You were a gracious host. You were always impeccably dressed. You loved a bargain, and the Edens and tip-top tailors, salespeople smiled when they saw you coming. Even after we moved to the Parkway and were going down to the dining room, you still maintained your high standards. Martin, you lived a long and productive life. You had 95 excellent years where you fully took care of yourself and were very independent. I will always love you and miss you, and will think of all of our years with such fondness and love. Sleep in peace.
Thank you so much. I would like to invite now to Carol and Marilyn to eulogize their father.
I'd like to thank the pallbearers who were here to help us out today. Thank you so very, very much. And thank you to all of our family and friends who are joining us via live stream today. We really appreciate your participation. And to those of you who are planning on being here today, as you can all see, the weather is rather inclement, and we ask that they not come because we didn't want them to come out in this bad storm. Marilyn and I would like to share some memories with a few anecdotes. That bring us fond and joyful memories of Dad. Dad had a man cave years before the concept was invented. The basement he so expertly finished was his sanctuary. He lifted weights in the tradition of his idol, Charles Atlas. He built his own universal gym. On Saturday afternoons, he tuned into CBC radio to hear the opera live from the Met in New York, and he sang along. He spent hours at his workbench and in his compact office, which was actually just a closet with doors. Even though Dad spent his working life driving, we still had many car trips to visit relatives in Toronto, Fort William, and the States. He drove for hours on end with almost no stops. Marilyn and I were frequently car sick, and for us, the trips were a schlep. If we passed a beautiful lake, we would beg to stop, but Dad would cruise on by. We loved the destinations, but not the journey so much. Once Dad retired, he spent his mornings eating breakfast and reading the newspapers. This ritual took 2 to 3 hours and often ran through lunchtime. The preparation of the cereal was a constant source of our enjoyment. The special bowl, the blend of cereals, the addition of the raisins, filling the bowl to the rim with milk, and the pièce de résistance was the thinly sliced banana arranged in a perfect spiral. To Dad, it was a work of art. He ate and read the papers in a state of complete contentment. When we'd hear him chuckle, we'd know he was reading the comic strips. And finally, we would be remiss in our reminiscences if we didn't mention his extensive collection of close to 100 ties. When our parents moved from their townhouse to the apartment, I went through the ties with Dad one by one to downsize the collection. Over and over, our discussion went like this. I would say, Dad, that's ugly, it can go. And Dad would say, ugly? You don't know what you're talking about. That's one of my favorites. It was a long morning, and when the dust settled, it was Marilyn too, and Dad was still extremely happy. He got to keep his collection. These stories have a serious side. They represent some of the values we learned from Dad. Self-discipline, attention to detail, striving for excellence, independence, appreciation of others, taking pleasure in small things, and patience. Thanks, Dad. We live these values every day, while you will live on in our hearts. Rest in peace. To our family and friends, thank you again for joining us to remember our Dad.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the eulogies. I would like to continue now with the memorial prayer, El Maleh Rahamim. El Maleh Rahamim Shochem Bameroimim Hametze Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei HaShechina V'Mahalot Kedoshim Kedoshim Uteorim Kezoyer Arakim Amazirim Eden Ishemat Eden Ishemat Menachem David Venaftali Vesoragitel She'alach le'olamo Ba'avur Shanu mitpalelim Ve'ad atzkarat nishemato Ve'gan eitein Ve'gan edentei menuchato Lachem balarachamim Ahastireu vesederkena Vavleolamim Utzeror bitznorachayim Achaim et nishemato Adonai unachalato Veyanuach veshalom Al mishkavo Venomar Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Martin Brody, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he rest in peace. Let us all say, Amen. Before we continue with the Kaddish, quick announcement. If you would like to make a donation to honor Martin's memory, please consider to do so to either the Shaare Zedek Synagogue or the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And also the family would like to thank all of the staff at the Simpkins Center for their excellent care of Martin for the last year. Please join me now in the recitation of the words of comfort, the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Itgadal ve'itgadash me'raba ve'alma divrach hirutei ve'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'b'chayei dechol beit Israel ba'agala u'b'zman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shemeh rava mevorach le'alam u'le'olmei olmaya. Itvarach ve'ishtavach ve'itpa'ar ve'itromam ve'itnaseh ve'ithadar ve'itale ve'ithalal shemei dekudesha brihu. Le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata tushvechata ve'nechemata namiram ve'alma v'imeru amen. Yehesh lama rava min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Israel v'imeru amen. Ose shalom imramahu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel v'imeru amen. Amakom irachem etchem v'tov sherav letzion b'Yerushalayim. May God bless you and comfort you. Let us all say amen. So we have the last duty to fulfill here at the cemetery. It is a holy duty, which is to participate in the burial process. So we have an open invitation for everybody here to come forward, pick up a shovel, and to put some dirt on top of Martin's coffin. And thank you again, everyone, for coming out. And thank you to everyone on the internet for tuning in. Your presence is greatly appreciated. Yeah. I will. We have some fine gravel here.